Let's talk about the world's smallest apartments. But where you find them, well, it's inside one of the richest cities on the planet.
16 square feet. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's barely the size of a king-sized mattress. Now imagine that's not just where you sleep. Imagine that is your entire home.
They have a name for them, coffin homes. And they are pretty much exactly what they sound like. They are literally bed-sized cages. Some are made of wood, others are just metal grates. And for about 200,000 people in Hong Kong, this is it. This is home.
So what's life actually like in a box this small? Well, for starters, you can't even stand up. It's physically impossible. You can't really stretch your arms. And the reason these even exist is that landlords will illegally slice an apartment floor in half horizontally just to cram in another level of cages and double their profits.
I mean, think about it. Everything you do has to happen in this one tiny space. You sleep here, you eat here, you try to watch TV. Every single thing you own is crammed in there with you. And with no sunlight, no fresh air, you're not just living in a box, you're fighting a silent, daily battle with severe depression and anxiety.
So let's get personal. What's the real human cost of living like this? What is the day-to-day struggle actually like for the people inside? The physical suffering is just constant. One resident, she just points to her arms and says, "It's difficult. Lots of things bite you." She's talking about bed bugs. They're a massive problem in these units, causing everything from anemia to just relentless discomfort.
And then there's the psychological toll, the complete and utter loss of hope. A metal worker named Frankie Chow was asked, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" His answer? "I'll be dead by then." There's no vision of a better future, just an acceptance that this is the end of the line.
The health conditions are, well, they're staggering. The air inside is 4 times more polluted than what's considered safe. You've got mold and leaks everywhere. And since there are no kitchens, people are forced to cook right next to open, lidless toilets. They wash their vegetables in the same sink everyone uses for the bathroom. And there's a constant fear of fire from overloaded electrics.
Take John, for example. He's been living in one of these for 18 years. 18! He says he ended up there after ruining himself gambling. But now, after almost 2 decades of not being able to move, his body is just breaking down. He's actually scared to go outside because he's afraid his legs will just collapse from under him.
And all of this leads to the one giant blinking question. How on earth is this happening? Especially in a city like Hong Kong, one of the richest, most luxurious places on the planet.
Well, the answer is that Hong Kong is a city of wild extremes. It's a gilded cage, a place where you have unbelievable wealth, living literally side by side with poverty that is just hard to even imagine.
And here's the absolute core of the problem. For 14 years in a row, Hong Kong has been the single most expensive housing market in the world. Not one of the most, the most. In a city like that, space isn't just a commodity, it's the ultimate luxury.
So what does that actually look like for someone just trying to survive? Well, take a look. A part-time cleaner makes about $650 a month. And boom, half of that, $320, is gone, instantly, just to pay the rent on her tiny 16-square-foot box. And if you're thinking, well, why not just get a better place? This right here shows you why that's impossible. That $320 a month for a coffin home seems insane, but a regular single-bedroom apartment, you're looking at around $4,000 a month. That's not a gap you can just work a little harder to cross. It's a chasm.
This level of inequality is fueled by an unbelievable concentration of wealth. Get this, just 75 individuals. 75 people own 10% of the city's entire fortune. So while they're living in sprawling mansions, you have hundreds of thousands of people who literally don't have enough space to stand up.
So again, the question comes up, why don't they just leave, find a better option somewhere else? Well, the truth is, the system itself is designed like a trap. For most, there really is no way out. The main escape route, the supposed safety net, is public housing. But just look at this timeline. It's brutal. The average wait time is more than 10 years. Imagine applying for help and being told, "Okay, see you in a decade." For these residents, it's not a waiting list. It feels like a life sentence.
Okay, this next fact is, for me, maybe the most shocking of all. A prison cell in Hong Kong is 80 square feet. That is 5 times bigger than a coffin home. Let that sink in. Someone who has broken the law gets 5 times more space, a personal toilet, and frankly, more dignity than a law-abiding citizen just trying to get by.
And this fight for space is so extreme, it literally follows you to the grave.
A burial plot? We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. It's an unaffordable luxury, even in death. So the vast majority of people are cremated, and their ashes, they're stored in tiny little drawers about the size of a shoebox.
So when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? You get this awful paradox. These homes, they're hidden right there in plain sight, in the middle of this glittering, modern, incredibly wealthy city.
And the problem isn't getting any better. The most recent estimates show the number has actually grown. We're now talking about 220,000 people. That's a whole city's worth of people, stuffed into these tiny, unsafe, unsanitary spaces.
So is anyone doing anything? Well, there is a plan. The government has promised to end the housing crisis by 2049. Yeah, 2049. For someone like John, who's already spent 18 years in his box, that promise might as well be a lifetime away. It's not a solution, it's a distant dream.
And that really gets to the heart of what one source concluded. These places don't exist to protect the poor. They exist to hide them, to keep this kind of poverty invisible, tucked away so it doesn't bother the eyes of the rich.
Which leaves us with one last big question. Because yeah, this is a story about Hong Kong, but the theme here is universal, isn't it? As our own cities get wealthier, shinier, and more expensive, who are we as a society willing to leave behind in the dark?